All right, welcome back to Celebrate Good Lives. Pretty exciting day for us here. Toothless Terry, how are you?
Yeah, I'm wonderful.
Yeah, good. Nice to see you. And we have Cherie from Stellar Creative. So nice of you to be with us today. Talk about marketing.
Yeah, great. Thanks.
So obviously with marketing, we wanted to be pretty specific about funeral marketing. And we've been working together now for a while. And I think it's been probably one of the tallest tasks you've probably been given over the years as far as marketing something that is not an at-need necessary right now, first and foremost. And then secondary to that is funerals and marketing don't really go hand in hand together. They're a real hard thing to market in general. And so we wanted to get you in today to have a discussion about what makes a good marketing strategy for a funeral home. We've had quite a bit of success in recent times with our marketing due to your input, and then how other funeral homes or other people can use these tools to go forward. So just wanted to welcome you in. Thank you for joining us. Firstly, what do you do? Where are you from? How does it work?
So I'm Cherie. I'm from Stellar Creative Marketing. I've been doing marketing for, probably since I was about 19, 20. I got into memberships, so lots of CRM and relationship management. Went on to university to do my degree, and then have been working in-house and in agencies pretty much ever since.
Right.
When my daughter was born, I then didn't want to go back to 60-hour weeks at agencies, so I started my own company. So just started doing friends and family, websites, marketing, social media, that sort of thing. And have just built it from there, really. So works around my life and then works around my kids' lives. And then, I can take on contracts as they come and go. So once we moved to the Bay of Plenty, or Eastern Bay of Plenty anyway, there's not a lot of marketing roles and not to the level that I was at. So I kind of knew I had to make my own role. It's been quite interesting actually, kind of getting into the community and meeting different people, but it's quite a cool way of working because it's a contract. It's always contracts or project based. I've come on to some clients for a month, or I've, with you guys over a year. Lots of my other clients I've been with for a couple of years. It's really cool because I get to know the business really well, get to kind of look at all the stats and get really behind the figures of some of the financials and some of what the target is. And then I can come and go. So you could be like, don't need you anymore for now, but hey, look, this other opportunity's come up and you've got someone that's kind of your expert on your business that can kind of consider the opportunity. So that's how my business runs at the moment, sort of as a marketing manager in your pocket. That's kind of...
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah, that's kind of how I've been using it. So
when Brad and I gave you a call, Brad and I had quite a few meetings about where we wanted to go forward, where we wanted to change and how we wanted to do it. And that's when we found you and liked your style, your energy and your outlook on what you were doing. When you received a phone call from the funeral home, taking personal stock of family, everybody's accounted for. What were you thinking? Like, what? Never really done this. But.
Yeah, I actually was a bit taken aback. And I actually talked to quite a few people about it because I was like, I'd actually met Brad from working with the Eastern Bay Community Foundation. So we'd done a little project there together. So I kind of knew who Brad was. The other thing that I had is that my mother-in-law had passed away. Right. So I'd actually used your services and I knew that they were quality and I knew you guys did, handled it so well. And it was just, the whole experience was beautiful. So I kind of knew...
the background,
that you guys were a great company, that you kind of knew your energy as well. So those things were I knew with Brad anyway, I don't think you'd even started actually, had you? Or maybe you had.
Yeah, it was right at my first sort of
little bit
around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I did know Brad and I knew that, Brad's young, taking on a business, and I work with lots of entrepreneurs or people that own businesses and no one's been, I don't think, as young as Brad. But I liked how it was community focused. You know, you've got lots of board stuff that you're on that you're kind of looking for how you can transform not just the business but like the industry. And I think I quite like that kind of disruptor kind of person. That's the kind of people who I like working with anyway. And I knew that we wanted to go on a sort of a bit of a digital front, and it was a really interesting kind of proposition, like funeral home, but we want to do content, you know?
Yeah.
Funeral home, but we kind of want to change things up a bit. So
we were sort of at that stage, we were trying to do a lot of it ourselves, and we sort of had an idea, but we didn't have an idea. We were limping along, sort of making it up. But, so like as an outsider of a funeral home, looking from the outside in, did you see this as this is easy. I can see where they need help, where some changes could take place that are really going to make a lot of sense and gain a lot of traction?
I don't know if I looked at it like that. I think I looked at it as a challenge.
Yeah,
I was
sure.
like,
for sure.
This will be a challenge.
Good answer.
Yeah, and it was always going to be a challenge, right?
Yeah.
Because no one wants to see funeral marketing, first and foremost.
It's not really something that people pump out there and go,
No.
hey.
And advertising funeral marketing is not going to be something that, we should be, I guess, it can be frowned upon if you go the wrong way about it, right? And so I think from my perspective, I was like, let's create, we sort of talked, the three of us really, around how can we market ourselves as being the leader, but also give the readers, the listeners, the viewers, the followers, everyone, a sense of these guys are actually educating us at the same time as and not just trying to say we're Gateway, we're the best funeral home, use us, everyone else is crap, and that's just how it is. And it's like that's not what we wanted to achieve remotely. And I think Cherie brought that to the table, but we also, I guess, if Cherie didn't agree with our ethos, then she wouldn't have worked with us, right? And so we sort of had this collective agreement that we were going to focus on education, focus on content, and this is how we were going to do it. Yeah. And I think Cherie brought that to the table as well, and agreed with the mindset, I guess, of what we were trying to achieve.
So maybe for people that are out there that are thinking maybe they're wanting to entertain the same sort of idea, is there like a starting point, like an assessment, personal assessment of what are you doing now, where you want to go? Is there like a template that you would suggest of where to look at yourself for other
I think the first thing we looked at, which is where I would get any business, no matter what industry, is to look at your target audience. And your target audience is not necessarily who is buying your product. It's who you want to be buying your product, or it's you want to be using your services. And we used the data really, and we turned around and went, women are making these considerations. They're making the decisions on funerals and for families. What age are they, and kind of where that kind of demand is going to come, because they've got this aging population, and it's women who are pretty much around my age, anywhere between 35 and 21 21 to sort of 65 really, and it's mostly women. So most funeral homes, I don't know if that's who they target, but that's where we've been targeting. So, that's kind of where we went with it. And then we pulled that through into brand, right? We went, look, we don't want black and white. We're all kind of like, this is who we start.
Yeah, you sort of came to us with how can we appeal to, right, you've got your target market, you know who you want to be talking to, how do you appeal to them? Yeah. And so you came to us with a colour palette, and we both looked at each other and went,
over our head.
Yeah.
What we were presenting really wasn't appealing to the people that we thought we were trying to get to.
Yeah.
And that's another thing. But once you find out who you want to get to, is what you're putting out there appealing to them? Does it look good? Would they pick it off a shelf?
Yeah. And the other thing, I guess, that for historical purposes for the listeners and watchers, is that when I bought the place, it was extremely old-fashioned, and there's no credit given where it's due. They had traditional, old-fashioned, same thing. No, not really. And they had their color scheme, their logos, and it was very
Yeah.
Traditional. And I just came in and got rid of all the color out of the business. First thing I did, and just took it back to basics, to black and white and silver, or black and silver. I think I did. New Zealand did it a bit. And then after 7 or 8 years, I was like, okay,
It's tired.
it's tired now. It's time to refresh. And that's when we came across the blush, the sage, and the yellowy sunshine sort of color. And and when you actually break it down and look at your target market and your color schemes and all that stuff that works into your marketing trends, you look at it and you go, oh yeah, that makes sense.
It looks good.
Okay,
Yeah.
because that's who you're appealing to. That's who you're targeting. So
Yeah. And I think what was really cool with working with you guys was kind of like, okay, we want your expertise. We want you to advise us. We don't know where we're at. We don't know where we're going, but also like educate us on the way. So I think that's been a really fun kind of part of this client relationship, is that I've gone, hey guys, like I think it was the first meeting I had. I said, what about a podcast? And you were like, oh, I've done one before, like years ago. Oh, it was quite good. Oh, maybe I will. The next time I came in, you already had all the kit. You'd already done like 3 episodes.
Yeah. See, this is what you had to learn really fast about me, is that if I get an idea, I just do it.
Yeah.
I don't think about it.
Yeah.
Hey,
Or,
yes.
or say something,
Yeah.
which is not my strongest trait. But anyway.
But it was cool, because then it was like there was already an energy there. There was already
Yeah.
like, oh, look, we like what you're saying. We're going to go along with it. We're going to run with it. So actually, from then on, I went, okay, I'm going to have to be careful about what I say because they're just going to run with it.
I think like for people that are listening in the industry, I think one thing that we, Brad and I, if you're not watching, we get caught up in is working the day to day and dealing with what comes in. And we were trying to do what your services are doing for us now on top of doing that, but we were failing. And so turning that over and taking the guidance but yet still doing the day to day allowed us to see sort of how the brand should be, how it's being perceived and stuff, rather than
and then it got to
workspace.
I think it then got to a point with Cherie where we were like, okay, the relationship here is really good. She now, from experiencing grief and loss, coming to us as a marketing specialist, took the time to learn about our business and what we do and how we operate. Clearly, she knows how I operate. And then, obviously, we've got this good thing going on. It got to a point where it was just like, shit, you know enough about the funeral industry now. We don't have time for this. Just do it. Just do it. You tell us when you want us to do stuff as far as making content or whatever. Outside of that, you're on.
Yeah.
And that's sort of how it transpired into this relationship of basically Cherie now works for Gateway Funeral Services on contract, but she's our marketing manager because she works for us, because that's just how it's transpired into this wholesome, trustworthy relationship that she has access to all our content and she just does it. And then I've never had a moment where I'm like, it's on the edge, Cherie. But for me to be on the edge, it's got to be really on the edge. But, you know, it's worked out really well.
Yeah.
And so I think
I think it's in terms of marketing though, like you can come in and you can do a marketing strategy, or you can come in and do some marketing, or you can come and do some social media. And I think when I try and explain what I do to people, it's kind of hard to explain it because like we redid your whole website, right?
Yes.
So that was copywriting, that was photography. You know, we came in with your social media, we came in with the whole strategy on that. We came in on content. You know, like every single part of the marketing and the outside and the profile and the event stuff.
But it's pretty safe to say
at.
we just went balls deep straight off the bat and said, hey, this is what we need to do. Well, okay, I don't know. Anyway, we just went, this is what we need, this is what we want. We want, basically, we want someone to come in and refresh the marketing.
Yeah.
Every piece of it. Website, social. Look at all our, like only a month ago, we got all the data, or you got all the data, we gave you our data, gave it to you and said, tell us what we need to do.
Yeah.
Where do we need to focus our attention?
Yeah.
We've been doing this for 12 months now.
Yeah. Where are we at?
Now this is where we're at. This is what we've gained. These are the statistics. Tell us what we need to get rid of and what we need to keep.
Yeah.
And that's been really healthy for us as well.
Yeah.
Because now we can look at things and go, well, that's not working. We need to change that. That's not working. That's working really well. We need to put more money into that.
And we're identifying things a lot quicker and attempting to make some subtle changes, see what happens, and some experiments along the way. The other challenge that we presented to you was that our overall plan, a win for us, was to be not only local option and education source, but as well as seen as a national representation of funeral service in New Zealand, and a way to go about sort of marketing, advertising, and performing. And the podcast has allowed that. The social media has sort of presented that as well. So I would say that was had to be a significant challenge as well.
So Cherie, I guess we've talked about figuring out who your target market is.
Yeah.
Branding for that target market. What are the other challenges that I guess you have found marketing a funeral home?
I guess it's really that you want to be in consideration when people have got no consideration factor. You're not trying to sell a lipstick. Do you know what I mean? It's like nobody needs this service. There is no way that we can increase demand.
And no one wants it.
No one wants it, but we can also we can't flick those levers in any way. We've got no influence on.
Can't have a sale.
Can't make a sale. We just can't.
25% off raised lid rosewood this week.
Today
only. Yeah.
And even if we did, it's not going to make a difference, is it? Yeah, I guess the thing we did a bit of a campaign on pre-planning and prepaying, and looking at why that's really important. And we did a couple of videos on that. We've done podcasts on it. We've done posts about it.
Yep.
Because that's the only really way that we can kind of create a demand, really. So it's really interesting. So you can't be like, hey, there's a new recipe this week, guys, or this is new this week. I mean, you could be like, here's a new casket, but like, still not going to help with demand.
No one's going to come in and go, oh, can I buy it?
Yeah.
Pretty low chance. And I guess following on from what you said there is that it's so back of the mind, right?
Yeah.
So we're not front of mind. It's not, you need me today.
Yeah.
It's you might need me in 10 years.
Yeah, absolutely.
But how can we talk to our potential clients and say, make sure we're in the back of their head, so that when the time comes, I saw those guys Gateway educating people. I saw those guys speaking in a speaking engagement. I've seen their social media. Their website's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So do you think one of the big parts of our journey through social media has been putting a face to everything?
Yeah, absolutely.
So do you think other funeral homes maybe lack that?
Yeah, well, I mean, to be honest, I have done a little bit of like competitor analysis, I'd say.
Yeah.
There's no one doing what you guys are doing in terms of content and social media wise, but you don't know what they're like in the community. You know, you're on quite a few boards. You know, I don't know if that's normal. But, that's what I would recommend. And, I always recommend sponsorship and kind of board kind of representation for pretty much all clients when we're in a small town. It just shows that you've got kind of that altruistic community mindset. Yeah, and that you're here not just for the business. So I think, but you guys have done a great job of going out and meeting with all the community groups, the Eastern Bay Villages, the what was it, Alzheimer's, you got groups in to
University of Third Age.
Heaps. So having those people and communities come in and being able to have those opportunities.
And not even being afraid to address the stuff that actually is not worth stressing about. You know what I mean? Like, people are so... traditional funeral directors are extremely mindful of what they say around embalming and all that sort of stuff, whereas we're just like,
and money.
You deserve to know.
Yeah.
You deserve to know what happens to your mum.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's something that...
And money, it's going to cost you this much.
Yeah. Well, I like that. Yeah. You guys have done a couple of explainer videos on the price. You've got your price list on your website. You've got it written down. Like, there's not very many places that have that. I mean, lots of businesses don't even have that. To actually be upfront about it and be like, this is what the cost is. And we've got these ways we can help you. I think that's really important, because demystifying it, really.
100%. So figuring out your target market, branding yourself to that, demystifying, transparency.
Yeah.
Put your face out there.
Put your face out
Humanize
there.
yourself, right?
Yeah, I think that's big.
Because I think like the biggest success we've had via our social media. What's funny?
I know. I was just thinking about the plant video.
Oh yeah. So the biggest success the biggest successes that we've had through our social channels has been with a face involved.
Yeah, absolutely.
Video, face, humanize, talk.
Yeah.
Inspirational quotes get you so far.
Oh, yeah.
Traffic updates get you so far, but yeah, you have to
Yeah.
show who you are as a person, your true personality.
Yeah.
You know, who
A photo
who are
of a
these-
coffin only gets you
not
so
who-
far.
yeah.
you know, who are these people coming to meet and
Yeah.
being vulnerable?
Who am I entrusting my loved one to?
Yeah.
to show
am I-
who we are.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you go on our website, you see a bunch of photos of these people, but who really are they?
Yeah.
Okay, but do I trust that person?
And I think
I
if
th-
anybody were to come in here, we are who we are. I don't think we adjust it too much.
We don't apologize for
No.
who we are either.
You know.
Maybe you should. No, I think one of the things we did as well, very, very early on, was we removed all the tributes from our Facebook page. Hey, because
Oh,
we
yeah.
went along and went,
It was an
do you know
obituary
what? This
page.
feels really depressing. You know, like
Yeah.
our social media is just tributes. It's a really easy way for a funeral home to get engagement and get traction on social media. It is the easiest way you could possibly do it, right? Put a tribute up. They've got 500 people that know them or 200 people. They're going to like your page. Great. Is that really like...
The engagement you want.
Yeah, exactly. You know,
Cheating.
it's kind of vanity metrics. It's kind of like doing viral videos. Great, fun, whatever. They're not going to necessarily bring you leads in. They're not going to bring the right people in.
Just because you put a funeral notice up.
Yeah. And we put them on, like, it's the highest page on our website. We get thousands and thousands of views every single month on our tributes page, right?
Yep.
But it
we-
stays on the website.
But it's on the
It doesn't
website.
it doesn't go on social media.
Yeah, because it's just, I mean, I find like there's a couple of groups that I now follow, really deep in the funeral business now, but, you know, and you're scrolling and you're like, oh, there's a dead person. Oh, there's another dead, you know, and it's kind of like, oh, actually on my social feed, I want it to be stuff that makes me feel good. I mean, not that social media is a great
But even
example of that.
like the education side of things
Yeah.
has been so good for us because I guess that was part of our initial conversations was, why is it that everyone walks in the front door here, knows nothing about what we do?
True.
No idea how much a funeral costs, no idea what embalming is, no idea
Yeah.
what sort of coffin to choose, don't know the process.
Yeah.
No.
Is it burial cremation? Oh, shit.
Didn't think about
Didn't
that.
think about that. Oh, well, that's number one.
Yeah.
You know, they have absolutely no idea about what the process actually is. Like when someone dies, then what?
Yeah,
Like they're in the bed there, what are you going to do?
yeah.
So that was a massive thing for us to undertake. the
You've been waiting to
I've been
use
so
that.
waiting for that one. Undertake the idea of going, let's do explainer videos
Yeah.
from start to finish. How does this work?
Yeah.
You know, and there's some people out there that have done, like a good friend of ours, Terry Longley, did a 16-minute video, I think, cost him thousands of dollars to make this video about the whole process from start to finish.
Yeah.
Amazing. That is what we should, you know, be using, and people should be undertaking
Yeah.
these things to try and get people to understand how it all works.
Yeah.
We do it ours in explainer videos. You could do yours any other way you like, doesn't matter, but that's how we chose to do it, and it's worked out well for us.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, we've now starting to notice people that have watched our socials, who listen to the podcast, that have an understanding of the funeral industry because of what we've done. So that's been kind of cool.
Yeah, and the way we're going about it, I think, you know, what we had brought to you was that we wanted to be unique,
Yeah.
and yeah, I feel like we are. I think like if somebody's looking to expand on this conversation and they're, you know, in their own area, you know, if they're looking to interview some marketing specialists, are there, I guess, key points or key questions to ask them about making sure they get the right person? Is it just a feel for?
Yeah, I mean I think you definitely want to have values aligned, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think also making sure you get someone who's kind of smart enough to kind of look into the business. Like the digital stats.
Committed.
Like committed, yeah. I think what we have done was set up a lot of digital stats, which you probably didn't have before, or like you didn't
Or didn't know where to find.
didn't know where to find, or didn't have you didn't have access to your website. You know,
No.
so having someone that can look at, like, even just hook you up with your data so that
Yeah.
if you do need to assess it, and also give you access. So you guys are very trusting. You just give it all, let me kind of have it all. But I think that in a way, owning your own data, owning your own, you know, stats, having all of that in-house, even if you don't have the skills to have it, but you know, you've got it, you can own it.
But then we can go, this is the stats, tell us what we need to do.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Because there's a lot of kind of
But you honestly,
cowboys
like,
out there.
I found the relationship with you, with marketing specifically, has become far more than just the marketing. Like, and I don't mean it like in a bad, but I mean like,
More than what we thought it was.
it's far
Yeah.
bigger. It's
Yeah.
who bigger. You want someone, if you're interviewing, and this is where I'm going with this, you want someone who is going to be invested in your business, who takes the time to understand, who researches what you need, how you should be going about it, does their research.
Yeah.
What is, you know, most funeral homes, their target market will be very similar as far as
Yeah.
woman, you know,
It'll be the
we
same.
believe anyway.
Yeah.
But, you know, outside of that, if they own a bar or a restaurant or whatever it is, get their marketing team to understand their business, and they are invested in it. I mean, you're probably a little bit too invested for yourself, not for me. I'm happy, but you're so focused on the funeral industry. It's amazing, which is cool, because
Yeah,
it's
there's a
something
few
different
links
for you,
I've
right?
sent you. You've been like, this is too much. Stop sending me these things.
Instagram
Yeah.
message from Cherie. Oh yeah, what sort of funny video is this going to be about to do with funerals?
Yeah.
Well, it's either funerals or golf, isn't it?
Yeah, one of the two, or horse racing.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
would you
No,
say
I think-
those are the big takeaways from
I
this?
yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Interesting.
I guess what you guys wanted though was a marketing partner.
Yeah.
You know, you didn't just want an agency who was just doing your website or
Or doing this, running your social media,
Yeah.
and you pay for one post a week.
Yeah.
You know, one this, one that, and it's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
yeah.
And
pretty vanilla.
that's the other thing we did was kind of that was one of the things that you requested was, hey, I don't just want it open-ended in terms of what you do. I want a package. I want to know what this is gonna entail. It's got to cover this stuff. I don't mind paying this much per month if we don't use it, but I want to know that I've got that kind of
The
in my
value.
pocket. Yeah, and the value. But I think that actually that's probably a big thing that I like to bring more value than I'm being paid for. Like I feel like
Yeah.
that's the usefulness,
And
right?
I think, like, we talk about money, right? We're pretty happy to talk about it on here, about funerals. Marketing is an investment in your business, right?
It is,
You have to pay for it. It's not going to be free. You can do it yourself as a bit in your business. You can take all the time you like to go and research how to do marketing and all the rest of it. But if you want quality and you want, what was the big thing we talked about? Like aligning our brand as all being the same.
a cohesive message
Yeah,
across
you
the
talked
board.
about it when we started, like not just wishy-washy, throw
Yeah.
your logo on a photo.
Yeah.
You know, everything, like the branding and the colours and everything match throughout all your channels.
Yeah,
That's what we
yeah.
talked about.
That's it. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. I'm going to go be a marketing manager.
I listened once.
One time when Cherie came in, I listened. And then, and so, you know, that's where your value comes from, because as time goes by, you look at it and it's just this one cohesive, good looking, everything matches. And, you know, you can try and do that by yourself. But if you want quality, you want experience, you want qualified results, then it's going to cost you money no matter what you do.
gonna
I
be
think
an
that's quite key. It is an investment, like you said, and as well, you know, we're in the business of making and developing relationships. It's what we do at a very hard time with people we don't know. And if you want the person, the marketer, to do you right, you need to have. Well, I think as funeral directors, we need to have a relationship rather than just signing off on a piece of paper saying, "Sweet, okay, that's done." There's going to be volume coming out, and it's supposed to work, right?
Yeah.
no.
Why are my followers not increased? You know, like things like that.
Yeah.
And so as a business, I'm happy to talk about it. We've sort of invested in you, and you come in every Friday, most 95% of Friday mornings, and we spend an hour together, and we go over what we did last week, what worked, what didn't. These are the stats. These are what it looks like. What are we doing next week? What are we doing next month? What are we doing next year?
Yeah.
And that's been really good to keep us on track
And momentum,
and you on track as well. But and the moment, 100% the momentum, because we get so washed up in 24 hours a day, 7-day a week business.
Yeah.
Which you should be, right?
Yeah,
Actually, this means you don't have to do that.
100%.
You know? You can just be in the business, doing what you need to do, and doing what you do best,
right.
and focusing.
And then we meet with you an hour on Friday morning. We dedicate an hour out of our time to do techie stuff. We do it, and then it's like, sweet, man, that's done.
Yeah.
Do you remember before we signed on and you were just sort of giving us advice, but we were still doing the posts, and we'd get to like Thursday at 4:00 and we're like, shit, did you do a post?
Yeah.
No, I didn't do a post. I better figure out a post before she comes back to us and say you didn't do a post.
Yeah, you didn't do anything this week. You know, so I think there's been a significant amount of value in the employment of you and the investment you've made in us and we've made in you. So
Yeah.
I think it's been
Certainly
cool.
suggest it to others who, if you're in a competitive market, if you're in a higher population, a higher competitive market, there's value if you're
And
in need.
this should be coming from you, but it'll come from me. And the investment in marketing is a long game. It's not a short game.
Yeah.
Do not consider your investment in marketing to have a result within 3 months. It ain't going to happen.
Pay for a month and you're done for the year. Nah.
It doesn't work like that. You have to invest long term. You're going to sit there and agree, obviously, because I'm paying you every week. But
marketing's not advertising.
Yeah.
So people think marketing and advertising are the same thing, but they're not. Marketing is strategy. Marketing is the long game. Marketing is everything all together. It's the whole plan. It's not just a one-off campaign. It's not a one-off post. It's not social media on its own. So, and I think that, you know, people come along and they go, I can do a website, I can do social media. It's great. But like, what is that overall? Is it aligned with everything? Is it aligned with your business? And the other thing I was going to say was coming into your business means that I know what's going on. Like, you know, we've got people coming through here. You know, there's all sorts of things happening here in your business that I find out about because I'm here on a Friday, you know, or some random something's happening at the desk or something. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whereas if I was an agency or something, or I had an office in town and you came to me,
You'd have no idea what's going on.
yeah, the value would just be like, or if I was completely remote and I only ever talked to you on the phone, like it just wouldn't
But
work.
because you're here on a Friday, we can talk about things we've seen during the week or things that maybe we can talk about in the social media for the next week, or this is what's happened, and you get a really clear understanding of what it is that we do.
Yeah.
And it's not just funerals.
And it's not.
Yeah. Hey,
Yeah.
I think this has been very valuable.
Yes.
I think it's been a cool conversation.
Yeah.
I think we should do it
enjoyed
again.
this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe we should do it again.
Yep.
We can talk about other parts of the business. Maybe we should turn ourselves into a business podcast. But no, it's been really cool to have you in today, Cherie.
Yeah,
So
cool.
Cherie from Stellar Creative Marketing, you can look them up, and maybe you could help them. Faktane, but you know. If you're looking for marketing solutions, maybe someone could talk to you about their own town and what they could go to their marketing person with if they are a funeral home. So you never know who might pick up the telephone. Ring a ding ding. All right. Hey, thanks, Cherie. Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
All good, Terry?
Yep. Yeah, wonderful.
Wonderful. Hey, that was Celebrate Good Lives for another episode of the podcast. Thank you.
Sweet.